Hey guys, John Rettinger here with some predictions for you for Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, also called WWDC, coming up in June of this year. Apple usually holds two big conferences each year, Macworld, which they said they're no longer going to attend, and this new Worldwide Developers Conference. So naturally people are expecting big things. So I compiled a list of things that I think we should definitely see happen, some we might see happen, and some that are really unlikely to happen, but possible. So let's start off with the likely. The first thing that I think we're definitely going to see is iPhone 3.0. Not 3G, not really talking about OS 3.0, I'm talking about an entirely new iPhone version 3.0. I got a feeling they're going to call it iPhone Pro. I have no substantial evidence for that, it just sounds like something they might do. Features I expect that we'll see on this new iPhone. A front-facing camera for iChat. It's been no secret that AT&T has been upping their network for faster download and upload speeds. I think that's anticipation of the expected traffic they're going to be getting with this new video chatting. Certainly if there was just a new iPhone with 3G capabilities, the upgrade probably wouldn't be necessary. Certainly nice, but it would not be a requirement. I think Apple is pushing AT&T to do the upgrades that could accommodate these new features. Next thing I think we're going to see is certainly increased storage. Apple ordered millions and millions and millions of 8GB flash cards for the iPhone. Those little flash drives, rather. And you think 8's not enough, what Apple actually does is they stack them. That's how you get your 16GB iPhone. I'd expect that we're going to see a 16GB entry model and a 32GB premium model to be released, similar to what Apple did when they released the iPhone 3G with the 8 and 16 configurations. I also think this is going to be the first time we're going to see a complete redesign of the iPhone. Certainly there's not that much Apple can do, but some things that I think we'll see in terms of a design, I think we'll probably go back to sort of an aluminum look. Probably a plasticky aluminum, if that makes sense. Sort of a metal paint on plastic, I think is what we'll see. And Apple's done that in the past with some of their products. It actually comes across looking very, very nice. I think we'll see full 802.11n wireless, which means much faster transfer speeds. I think we'll see more features that will be put in the iPhone as well. I think they're going to talk a lot more about OS 3.0 and some of the things that maybe have been hidden from developers this far. I think we're going to see internet tethering be announced. Certainly it's been no secret that that's been in OS 3.0, just a little bit hidden out of the way. We're going to have video recording. Apple hasn't announced that either. Certainly MMS, the vertical keyboard, cut, copy, and paste, things that Apple talked about when they released OS 3.0 will be talked about as well. So some other things I think we'll see on the new iPhone. I think there's a chance, a slight chance, we may actually see a physical keyboard on this version of the iPhone. I've heard from a friend of a friend who knows a guy inside of Apple that there is a prototype version of an iPhone with a full QWERTY keyboard sliding out to the side, similar to the Samsung Impression, that's been floating around the Cupertino campus. Whether that's just a prototype or not, I certainly can't speak to. I would love a full textile keyboard, physical buttons. However, having used OS 3.0, I can say that using the keyboard in landscape is fantastic. Actually, I make much fewer errors having it like that. So if there isn't a physical keyboard, I certainly won't be disappointed. I also think that the phone will be just a little bit thinner as well. I think it'll probably be just as thick as the flash modules will allow. Next thing I think Apple's going to spend a lot of time talking about is their newest operating system, Snow Leopard. It's been a little while since Apple released Leopard, and I think that Snow Leopard is probably primed for a release candidate, or at least will be in June. They'll probably announce when it's going to come out. Most people are expecting a September, October release, but I think they'll announce that a release candidate is going to be more widely available to developers. Don't expect anything drastic with Snow Leopard. It's not going to have any new cool features that are introduced like OS X Leopard was, when they introduced time machine stacks and a ton of other cool stuff. This stuff's mostly going to be under the hood. So you're going to have a lot of increased speed, a smaller footprint of the operating system, and full compatibility with some 64-bit applications and such. So I think that Snow Leopard is going to be a big focus. I'm sure they'll talk about some other new features. Don't expect to be wowed, just expect increased stability. Although I gotta say, I've been thrilled with Leopard. It's been incredibly stable for me. So those are my definite things I think we're going to see. We may see some spec bumps in the iMac, MacBook, and possibly Mac Pro line as well. I would definitely say that that would be something that we're going to probably see as well. So some of the possible things I think we might see. I think we might see an updated iMac design. It's been a while since Apple released the aluminum iMac, the one that I use and know a lot of you guys use as well. So I would say that a redesign is certainly not out of the possibility. I'd expect something maybe similar to what the current Apple Cinema displays look like. Maybe Apple will lose the chin, go with an all-black bezel around it, would probably be what I would anticipate coming. Again, nothing revolutionary, more of an evolutionary design change. We may also see an updated Mac Pro design. Apple just updated the specs, but it's been quite a while since that design saw an overhaul. There's very little what you can do with a tower desktop computer. However, I think that Apple will probably streamline a little bit, possibly add a few more bays, maybe make it look a little bit nicer, a little more modern to entice some of the Pro buyers to look at the Mac Pro. So some of the things I wish, or probably doubtful, but there's a little modicum of chance they might come out. First, and it's been talked about quite a bit, is a netbook. Apple supposedly ordered 10-inch touch panels a while back, millions of them. People were anticipating were going to be for a touchscreen netbook. Now, when Apple does something, as opposed to some other companies, they spend a lot of time on the design, the crafting, and the materials. Usually there's a price premium that you pay for that. Now, when you're dealing with a computer that's price points competition is around $300 to $400, it's very susceptible to an increase in price. So if you're going to have a netbook with all these fancy components and a touch panel, you're not going to be able to hit that $300 or $400 price mark, which Apple has gone on the record as saying. So for those reasons, I think a netbook is probably doubtful. What those panels may be for, I'm just going to speculate, I don't know. But I think a netbook is probably not in Apple's market, simply because they can't get the price down low enough where it would be acceptable. You've got the MacBook Air at $1799. They're going to release a netbook at a $600 price point. For a few $100s more, you can get a full-fledged iMac or MacBook. So I'm not sure that there's really a niche for it. That being said, I would love an Apple netbook if they could find a way to make one affordable, and a touchscreen would be absolutely fantastic. And who knows, maybe even Snow Leopard will have some touchscreen capabilities in it. So one thing that I think these touch panels might be used for, and this is, again, speculation, is an e-book reader. And an ebook reader, to me, just makes logical business sense. It certainly fits in with the iTunes business model. They have a great way to distribute the content, iTunes. And they can distribute that over the air via an 802.11n chip built into this possible ebook reader. I think it could be fantastic. The Kindle's made a lot of noise, showing that the market for ebook readers is alive, maturing, and certainly growing. In the life cycle of product, it's definitely on its way up, and I think Apple wants to capitalize on that. At least I would anticipate. There have been reports of trucks and truckloads of people dropping off books at Apple's campus. Now, Apple may just be refreshing their library, or they may also be digitizing their own content, which is actually a very interesting way for Apple to get the content to you. They don't have to go through Amazon or Barnes & Noble to license that. They can actually license their own digital content right to their possible new ebook reader. So that would make sense. It definitely falls into Apple's business model and distribution model. So I think that's a possibility, although if it is going to come, I wouldn't expect it at WWDC, maybe a special announcement a little later on in the year. So guys, these are just some of my predictions for the Worldwide Developer Conference. I've been relatively accurate in the past with some of my sure things, but some of my outlandish ones, you never know. So take everything with a grain of salt. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. For exclusive content, be sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. And I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.